Every year, there's always a movie that leaves viewers wanting more, be it a sequel or a series. Although it might seem too early to conclude which of Nollywood's 2023 release has managed to capture viewers' hearts, it's undoubtedly that Gangs of Lagos falls into the list of contenders. From the same creative mind that brought a new type of action thriller to our screens in 2022, with Brotherhood comes Gangs of Lagos, another crime thriller that will keep viewers on the edge of their seats. There is something about watching Jade Osiberu's movies that immerses you into a world that feels yet new. Gangs of Lagos being the first Amazon Prime Video original film knocked the ball out of the park. Whether it was the spot-on casting choices, cinematography, or stunts, the film has set the bar high for producers in the industry. The movie's plot revolves around a group of friends to a life of crime in the famous streets of Isaleko. After losing loved ones, they set out on a quest for vengeance to right the wrongs of the gangs on the streets. The film is co-produced by Jade Osiberu and Kemi Lala Akindoju. The movie stars actors like Tobi Bakare, who played Obalola, Adesuwa Etomi-wellington, who played Gifts, and musician turned actor Chike, who played Ifi. His mom calls him Ifeanyichukwu. Other high-profile casts include Choma Bota, Bimbo Ademoye, who played Tenny, Zlatan Ibile, Iyabo, who was Mama Oba, Tayo Faniran, who played Nino, and Toyin Abraham, who was Mrs. Bamidele. It tells the story of three childhood friends struggling to escape Isaleko, only to find the pull of the criminal underworld drawing them back in. The first gang in Lagos was the Ayo. They sent souls of departed kings to the other world and they welcome new ones. Isaleko is a jungle where everyone does what they want to do to survive, from stealing bags to stealing from containers to collecting unofficial taxes on the streets to running illegal bets to using upcoming musicians to push drugs. I mean, any crime, any illegal crime you can think of was happening on the streets of Isaleko. So this group of three friends who each have to navigate their own destiny, growing up on the bustling streets and neighborhood of Isaleko. This movie, Gangs of Lagos, is a crime thriller that captures Isaleko's reality. Whether it was the spot-on casting choices, cinematography, or stunts, Gangs of Lagos has set the bar high for producers in the industry. So despite possessing many unique qualities, including an authentic representation of Lagos street life, Gangs of Lagos does have a few flaws, ranging from dialogues to the storyline. So let's dive into the review. So best friends, Obalola, Ifi, and Gift. Remember I told you the characters and who played them. They were born and raised in Isaleko, where politically affiliated gangs rule the streets. When rival gangs paints the streets red with blood, Obalola, Ife, and Gift get caught up in gang wars that lead to the uncovering of secrets that shake the very foundation of Isaleko and ultimately bring the trio to the realization of their destiny. Now I've given you the synopsis of Gangs of Lagos. Let's start from the beginning. Now, the beginning scene show a young boy named Obalola, which was Tobi Bakare, threatening to kill a woman if she refused to surrender her purse. And this lady was Eniola Badmus. So initially, thinking he was joking, the lady gave the young boy a slap. She declined, but upon spotting a knife on her neck and on her daughter's neck, she accepted. This incident caused him to be summoned to the leaders of the streets, as the woman is an Omoaye. Due to his courage and intelligence, a young leader, a gang leader named Nino, is interested in him, becoming his second father figure because his father died. So Nino took over and became his father because he liked him. Unfortunately, Nino dies. Before he died, Obalola had enjoyed a lot. He was well taken care of. He was given whatever he wanted. He lacked nothing. He was eating good. But unfortunately, Nino dies, causing Obalola to rely on a life of crime with his best friends, Gift and Ife. Gift being Adesuwa Etomi-wellington and Ife Chike Osebuka. They start to work for a greedy and ruthless gang leader, Kazim, who was Olarotimi Fakunle. Things get heated when Kazim murders one of the gang leaders, pinning it on Oba's friends. This accusation leads to his death, which enrages Oba and the street members, and later causes a war where bloodshed and destruction are the order of the day. Let's go to the good part of the movie. A significant highlight of this film is the excellent casting choices. It was refreshing to see Adesuwa switch from a pretty face into a tomboy with ruthless qualities as a man. Tobi Bakare also delivered an award-winning performance as Obalola, along with Kazim, who embodied what it takes to be a villain of the streets. How can we forget the rage Chioma brought as she delivered a tear-moving monologue when Ife died, and Iyabo, who, although appearing in a few scenes, was still able to express the fierceness that exists in a typical Nigerian mother. Lastly, Tayo Faniran. He made us fall in love with Nino. Let's ignore his shortcomings. The cinematography for Gangs of Lagos is top tier, as the various elements make each scene appealing for the nature of its genre. Its genre being crime, drama, action, mystery, and thriller. An additional ambitious cinematic part that paid off was the locations. It is remarkable to see that the movie was shot at places that can be found in the real life Isaleko. Gangs of Lagos, to a certain extent, also accurately portrays what street life is like. Paying close attention to details that will keep viewers interested in the movie. For example, there was a lot of symbolism about the current situation of the country. The election thingy, especially the recent elections. The themes of political thuggery and corruption were heavily implied in many scenes. Let's also talk about the stunts and the effects. Gangs of Lagos is arguably the first film to feature a professional execution of deeds. This added to the realistic blood effects. This would probably make it every Nollywood director's guide on how to shoot an action film correctly. The bad, let's go there. So Gangs of Lagos radiates with potential, but it still has a lot of room for improvement. Some scenes felt too dragged out, especially the scenes with the stunts. It was almost as if the producers were trying to shove the fact that a lot of money, time, and effort went into the actions. So showing them more would give viewers time to appreciate them. The storyline appears to have been done before, although it would be hypocritical not to acknowledge the effort they put a new spine on it. It felt like an extra dose of creativity would have made it better. A few dialogues also felt bad. Either the words had little impact in the context of the situation, or the delivery felt off. The idea of making Gangs of Lagos a movie is another issue. It would have been so much better as a TV series. Like all these TV series in Africa on African Magic. Because then we would see character development, not just for Oba or Gifty, but also for people like Kazim. Because from being young boys, and next it was 15 years later. So if it was like a TV series, I think we'll see how they grew maybe 5 years later or 10 years later, not just 15 years later. But in review, I would say Gangs of Lagos is all it thinks it is and much more, like much more. There is no movie to compare to it yet. The opening moted is the kind I have never seen, and it tells me what an exciting ride I am in for. The movie has action, grit, humor, raw emotions, suspense, mystery, all these that give goosebumps. I dare not to shed the tears in some of the scenes if you're an emotional person. The casting director does a fantastic job for every role, and the actors left everything on the screen. They left blood, sweat, alive. It was really something to behold. The story and screenplay demand a lot of energy, a lot of deep emotions, method acting. Every actor, including the children, they did a fantastic job. The story and the plot are not novel. but the telling of it is refreshing, and the director's vision is brought to life in Technicolor. Let us talk about some of the actors. Let's start with Tobi Bakare. So Tobi has already shown us he's a great actor in his past movies. But in Gangs of Lagos, he goes to another level. His expressions and delivery fit every scene, and you just want to hear him speak. In this movie, he is a man of few words and more action. When I say more action, you know what that means. More shooting. And the young actor that portrays his younger self delivered his role too. Adesuwa Etomi. She's a sight for sore eyes, and the way she handles her actions is sublime. We have seen her as the rom-com queen, and she's telling us she's also the queen of actions because she delivered. From the fighting to the shooting, she delivered, trust me. She handles weapons in a way that reminds you of Hollywood superheroes. Let's go to chukwuka. She's an actor's actor, a veteran of Nollywood indeed, yet always fresh in every movie. Chike, musician turned actor, he's a revelation to an actor. He's given a role, or he was given a role, to be the gentle and quiet part of the trio. That's the trio of Tobi and Adesuwa, and he delivers in spades. Faniran, he played as Nino. He still needs to get some acting classes done, but he did his best. He appeared forced for most of his scenes, but his colleague covered up his shortcomings, so you could still enjoy the movie with him. I have known Olarotimi Fakunle from growing up. He used to be the king of stage acting, and he is a darling of the African Magic series. He's an excellent actor on those platforms. But with what he delivered in Gangs of Lagos, he clearly crosses all platforms, telling you that he's not just for stage acting, but he can do movies too and deliver. He was born for the role of Kazim because he delivered that role. And he is in action. He was in action till his last breath. In most Nigerian action movies, the fight scenes, they never look real. And you hear a lot of drum sounds, usually added in post-production. So whoever handled the fight scenes, choreography, deserves an award. Gangs of Lagos has some of the best choreographed fight scenes I have ever seen in Nollywood movies. The fights look real, like real. The emotions are raw. The injuries are realistic. The blood flow matches the intensity of the fight. So when I say this, then you know it is looking real. The cinematography in the movie is top-notch, and the establishing shots and long shots show us a view of Lagos that we don't usually see. The real night light of Isale Eko is something to see. Gangs of Lagos shows the best and worst of Isaleko, and we have never seen it before. The story is realistic and believable. It's even relatable to some people. Everyone living in Lagos has a story to tell about Isaleko. It is a refreshing take on Lagos life. So because I promised no spoilers for this movie, Gangs of Lagos, let me just give you my final review. So, throughout the movie, the concept of predestination hovers around Obalola as he navigates the street life. From the beginning, we see the young Obalola, wonderfully played by one of the Ikorodu boys. He stepped into his father's destiny. Then he meets his second dad, Nino, that was Tayo Faniran, who shows him a different path and presents a new dream. One that could take him off the rough streets. With Nino out, the grown Obalola seeks to depart before him, filled with protection rackets, human trafficking, theft, murder, and political corruption, which might appear to be a lack of direction due to the fact that he is simply caught in between other people's paths and going with the flow of life. We see a man struggling to hold on to his japa and education plans, which is Nino's dream for him, while towing the path set by Kazim. He struggles to avert his pending destiny, but he becomes the go-to person for Kazim, which was Olarotimi Fakunle. And while doing the heavy lifting required to help his friends Gift and Ife hold on to their dreams, the death of his friend Ife finally forces him to figure out his path. Standing beside the body of his dead friend, we see that his goal is clear with his non-verbal, well-portrayed body language. Obalola is no longer just his dad's replica, chasing Nino's dreams or helping Kazim with his political aspirations. He is his own man for the first time, fully committing to his goals, which happen to align with his destiny to become a street king who cares about his people. Jade Osiberu's movie is compelling because it takes the everyday pursuit of dreams and destiny set against the political landscape of Isaleko and puts it on the big screen for us to see ourselves. While some people might not relate to the political thuggery and violence, we can all relate to being caught in people's dreams and eventually having to figure out what path to take. Beyond the violence and drama, Gangs of Lagos works because it is a tale as old as time of faith, dreams and aspirations, and how external factors can kill these dreams. While the movie's relatability is a huge selling point, the film has other compelling elements, including the non-verbal acting done by Tobi, the child who plays his younger self, Kazim with his mannerisms, which reflects the two timelines, and Iyabo who shows all her emotions on her face before she even utters her lines. That's just to name a few. Aside from the acting, the movie stands out for the unusual yet brilliant casting. This is not your regular Nollywood film filled with stars. This is a movie where the established actors bring their A game and the newer faces command the screen every chance they get. The character development in Gangs of Lagos is commendable. Most of the characters are well developed, and the chemistry between the actors feel genuine, adding to the overall authenticity of the story. In addition to the casting and acting, there is the gift of foreshadowing, which is often lacking in Nigerian movies, and intentionality behind most shoots. From the first scene with the white-clad Eyo Masquerade who show up towards the end, the introductory shot where the young Obalola meets Nino and Kazim, to the shot of Kazim punching the camera and Obalola at the end. The movement of the camera adds to the story with each shot. Another impressive aspect of the movie is the way in which it highlights the city's multi-faced nature using striking visuals. The film showcases the stark contrast between the wealthy and the impoverished, the traditional and the modern, the peaceful and the violent. The cinematography is stunning with vibrant and metaphorical shots that capture the vibrant energy of Lagos while telling a story of the divide between the rich and the poor. The lighting, set design, and costumes are better than what we usually see in Nollywood movies. For instance, Kazim's wardrobe is exceptional. From his outfits to his rings and his glasses, even his office also fits the time frame of the movie. The use of language is perfect. The movie manages to mix Yoruba with the right amount of English, some pidgin, and slang, which adds to the authenticity of the story. Additionally, for the first time in a long time, a Nollywood film uses violence to further a narrative, not just for the sake of having blood splatters everywhere. The film does a good job of presenting the grim reality of many people in the represented locations. While the pacing of the film is almost perfect, it struggles to pick up initially. Gangs of Lagos is a thought-provoking film that explores dreams and destiny while shedding light on the harsh reality of life in Nigeria's largest city, Lagos. Osiberu's direction is impressive as usual, as the performances of the cast are excellent. It may not be the best Nigerian film ever, but it is undoubtedly a memorable one. An impressive addition of her growing catalog and a step forward for Nollywood. So just for noteworthy, all the actors stood out. Olarotimi Fakunle needs to grace our screens more. Chioma Akpota is a revelation as a dramatic actor. Terrible was not terrible to watch at all. Zlatan will make a decent actor. Again, all the actors stood out. The child actors, they were excellent. Lala Akindoju completely understands the job of an acting coach and a co-producer. So finally, I will rate this movie a 7 over 10. It's between 7 and 8. Yeah. So you will have a run for your time. If you stream it, watch it. I'll advise you watch it because it is really interesting. So if you watch to this point, I cannot thank you enough. I'm grateful. Thank you for always stopping by my channel. Please do well to like, subscribe, share with friends. They will also love it. And see you in my next one. Bye.